Here's the car. Here's my car. Here's the stop sign, the red light. I stop barely. He jumps out as I'm stopping a turn or whatever, and he starts shooting.
A 13-year-old boy is shot and murdered all while just riding in a car. His accused killer, the son of an FBI special agent. But he's not the man in the orange jumpsuit, so let me explain. The horrible case first unfolded back in August in Albuquerque, New Mexico, when 13-year-old Michael Tubb was just riding along as a passenger in a car driven by a 17-year-old girl. Suddenly, bullets began to fly. The teen who was driving the car was shot and rushed to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and thankfully, she survived. However, for 13-year-old Michael, it wasn't the same for him. He was shot multiple times and declared dead at the scene. It was seemingly a random shooting, so the search for Michael's killer or killers was on. The first break in the case happened in October when 22-year-old Michael Flores was arrested. Flores was accused of not firing off the weapon, but instead being the driver of the person who fired off the bullets that hit the teenagers. And although Flores isn't accused of being the shooter, he was still charged with open murder. So who was the alleged shooter that killed Michael and injured the teen girl? Well, investigators learned Flores was with 21-year-old Thomas Acee at the time of the shooting. But here's the catch. Michael Flores sat down with investigators seemingly to get a deal for himself, even prior to Acee being arrested. So we're learning more about what happened to cause the crime-writing duo to allegedly shoot at a random car, killing a 13-year-old passenger and injuring a teenage girl. And from Flores' account, it appeared to be a case of mistaken identity.
I sold cocaine to him and a lot of my friends and friends of their friends. And so he was a friend of a friend who I just happened to be with downtown.
Okay. And if you
Okay.
This conversation, that's fine.
Okay. So he runs into somebody when we're down there, like when we're walking back to the car to leave or whatever. This person, he told me about this person before, but I didn't know it was that person at the time or whatever. He tells me this person shot up his car and robbed him at a party earlier on that year. And so he tells me that or whatever, and I tell him I don't want nothing a part of none of that. We're going home, whatever. And he tells me just loop around. I want to see what car he gets in, or whatever. I loop around. He says he got in this car. He said loop around again and follow that car. And what's it called? I did. I followed it maybe 5 or 10 minutes up the road, like towards UNM. And then, because he wanted me to, to just know where he lived. Because he promised me, he told me, I'm not going to do nothing. I know that, like, I don't want to put you in any situation or anything. I just want to know where this guy lives or whatever. And so I follow that car. And then, when he finds out that it's not the guy or whatever, for whatever reason, he's like, that isn't the car. I don't think that's the car or whatever. And I tell him, all right, let's go home. And he gets mad at me at this point. He points the gun at me at this point, and he tells me, go back downtown. Like, don't stop being a or whatever. Because, like, I already wanted to go home like 2 or 3 times at this point. I didn't want any part of this or whatever. And so I go downtown. He says, that's the car right there. And it was that car. And that car happened to be right there, like a block or two where we seen that guy or whatever.
Okay.
That guy is he's like probably 6'1" or 6'2". He's has an Edgar haircut. That guy that he had a few words with. And keep in mind, like they didn't yell at each other or nothing. I didn't know that this was that guy. They had a few words. I didn't hear what they said. And then we left.
Okay.
And so,
Do you know that guy's name?
I don't know that guy's name.
Okay.
That was the only time I ever seen him too.
Okay.
If you were to show me a picture of him, I'd be able to tell you that's him though.
Okay.
But where was I?
So you said that he pointed a gun at you and told you to go back downtown, and then identified a car that was just a couple blocks from where you guys saw him originally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he said, that's the car right there. That's the car right there. And I follow it for like 2 minutes around there. And I'm like, I'm taking us home or whatever. I go from following it and I get into the turning lane to what's it called? To turn to get out of there because I was going to pass him. I was like, that. I don't trust him. I was like, if he shoots me, he shoots me. I was like, we're going home. So the car's right here. I'm behind it. I go from there to passing it. I make a stop, but not a complete stop, just to look both ways so I don't turn and, a car sideswipes me or something.
Sure.
Within that time period, he jumps out of the car and starts shooting within like a second, like a 1 to 2 second stop. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't know if you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
I didn't stop the car completely. So he jumps out as it's moving a little bit and starts shooting or whatever. And at this point, I'm like, what the f***? I froze. My ears are all ringing. There's glass all over me and he almost took my head off too. I found out later that night. There's a bullet graze above the car that went. So my headrest is right here. My head's right here. There's a bullet graze that right here in the car on top of it, and he shattered the sunroof.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Okay.
Flores admitted to selling Thomas Acee cocaine a few times a week.
So he was drunk off Percocets and pretty coked out that night.
Okay.
Me, I've never done drugs. I've never tried them. I was just really drunk.
Okay.
The car used in the shooting, Flores says he bought on Facebook Marketplace for 10 grand using money from dealing coke. Remember how I mentioned earlier Acee was the son of an FBI special agent? Well, he seemingly put that knowledge to use by telling Flores they need to get rid of a huge thing tying them to the shocking crime.
I convinced everybody in my life that I was innocent, that I wasn't there, and this is just a coincidence.
So when you say this too, for why you removed that, what do you mean?
I mean, that night, because he told me the only way they could tie us to this whole thing or whatever is because the car. So it was his idea to modify it.
Okay.
Can you mean?
Yeah.
Shortly after this happened, we had put out a Crime Stoppers tip with some pictures of that Lexus. Did you see that Crime Stoppers bulletin?
No.
Okay. A lot of your search history and stuff that we got out of your phone was in reference to some modifications that you looked like you were maybe planning on making to the car. As far as a front grille and some rims, stuff like that.
Yeah, I wanted to keep that car, yeah.
Yeah. In all those searches, you searched for a 2015 Lexus. When you listed it on Facebook, you listed it as a 2014. Was there a reason behind that?
A reason behind 14. Yeah, it would be to that night.
Okay. Just as...
I didn't understand this.
No, I'm sorry. So I guess what I'm asking is you knew that the car was a 2015. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. And did you intentionally post it on Facebook Marketplace as a 2014?
Yeah.
Okay. And was that to try to avoid, I guess, me or us finding you in the car?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you haven't noticed, Thomas Acee's name has been redacted from this interview. But a short while later, Flores is shown a photo and was asked if he believes the weapon in the photo was the same one used in the shooting. In a photo released by Albuquerque PD, Acee is holding a weapon that was allegedly used in the shooting.
Can you confirm who you know this person as?
That's him.
Okay. The firearm that he's holding in that picture, is that the same firearm, or does it look like the same firearm?
It looks like it, yeah. It does.
Okay. And you're more than welcome to keep looking at it if you want to, but I just want to ask you kind of a little bit about him and that firearm. When you guys left that evening, how did he get to? You said you guys met up at the Shoshone address.
Yeah.
How did he get there?
He drove that car that had a bunch of bullet holes in it from whenever he got robbed and had his car shot up at that party.
Okay. Do you know what kind of car that is?
It's a white Genesis.
Okay.
It's a think of 2014 or 2013. I don't know,
Okay.
but it's around those years.
Okay. And I just kind of want to, where was he when you guys were in the car downtown? Was he seated in the front seat or in the back seat? Where was he seated?
The
in the car?
passenger seat.
The front passenger?
Yeah.
Okay. And where was that that firearm, that gun that I just showed you, or the one that looked like the one in that picture that I just showed you?
I don't remember that. I believe it was just where his feet were, like in the, what is it called? The passenger seat.
Okay, like the floorboard?
He would bring his guns everywhere.
Okay.
So it wasn't, I know like you might think might still be premeditated. He brought his guns everywhere.
Okay. Okay.
Especially after that incident, I heard.
Okay. And I'll be honest with you, man, like I want to make sure that you and I are on the same page here. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not here to judge you, okay? I'm just trying to find out the facts, and more than anything, just get answers for this young man's family. And so I appreciate that. But just know that there's nothing here that anybody on this side of the table is judging you for. We just appreciate you doing the right thing and sharing this information with us, okay?
I can't.
Yeah.
It haunts me at night.
Yeah. I can only imagine. I'll be honest with you, it does me too a little bit. This is a really, really difficult case.
Should have never happened. I really feel like if I was sober, then I wouldn't have done what he said.
Yeah. It's okay, man. You're doing the right thing now.
Flores said he and Acee weren't even necessarily friends. They met through a friend of a friend 2 years ago, but didn't start hanging out until 6 months prior to the shooting. But he took his so-called friend's advice and sold the car tying them to the shooting.
When I came back to Albuquerque, what did I do? I barely left my house. When I got back, I took him home right away or whatever.
Okay.
We had been talking for hours and hours. He was prepping me for in case I was ever in this type of situation over this. Basically, he was telling me that I would go to prison for life. He would go to prison for life. Like, where if anything happens, you're in the same boat as me pretty much, until I told my lawyer about this, and she said, no, that's not the case, you know. Like, it's gonna be all right, and that won't happen. So my amazing lawyer brought me here today to do this. I didn't do it before, and I'll get into that. I didn't do this. I wanted to testify, but I couldn't, because he showed up to my house whenever I was in jail. He never knew where I lived. I don't know how he found where I lived, but he showed up to my house when I was in jail. When I was in jail the first time or whatever. He showed up to my house when I was in jail the first time, and he talked to Sasha and her mom or whatever. And so, being in jail, I was like, how the does he know where I live? Like, and he was like, I guess when he talked to them, he told them that like he was gonna put money on my books, he was gonna pay for my lawyer, he was gonna do this, he was gonna do that, all this stuff. I knew that was his way of like don't tell on me, I know where you live, like type of thing. So I didn't, and I wanted to, because it was very tempting, but I didn't want my family to get hurt and my girlfriend, so I didn't. And when I got out, he showed up to my house a week later, and it was kind of the same deal. And I just kind of assured him that, like, you know, I'm gonna beat this case, like, you have nothing to worry about, whatever. And also when he was there, he told me, like, if a cop comes to my house or something, he said, I'm gonna go out in a shootout. I'm not going down for this. He told me that he's not gonna go down for this. Basically, like telling me I have to go down for it because I'm the one who's posted the car on Facebook, even though he said it was a good idea to do it.
Okay. Has he made any direct threats towards you or Sasha or your family?
No. That was his, that's why they let him in. Like, they wouldn't let him in if he, like, came over there all, like, hot-headed or whatever. No, he came over there acting like he was my best friend and all this stuff. But no, he didn't make a direct threat.
You said he told you it was a good idea to post that car on Facebook?
Yeah, he did.
Tell me about that.
Well, because I was getting desperate to, and I was very I was getting very worried and like paranoid and stuff. And he told me that would be a good idea to just sell it on Facebook Marketplace. I didn't think so, but I was desperate, and I didn't want the car anymore. I didn't enjoy the car more anymore. After that, I couldn't.
Now Flores claims he didn't see who was in the car that Thomas Acee allegedly shot at. Seemingly unaware at the time of the shooting, a 13-year-old boy and a teen girl were in the car.
I just went along with it. I felt like I had no choice then to.
Okay. Walk me through following that car. You said you followed it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Describe that for me.
I don't really remember. I followed it for a few minutes.
Okay. What did you notice about that car as far as people inside it?
No, it was heavily tinted.
It was heavily tinted.
Yeah, and that's another thing. He whenever like we were on the road trip to Colorado or whatever, he told me that that the reason he started shooting was because he saw a gun. He's full of shit. I didn't see a gun at all. That car was really tinted. How the hell are you gonna see a gun?
Okay. Were the windows rolled up or rolled down?
It rolled up.
All of them? Okay. So you didn't see anyone inside that car?
No. It's very tinted. I didn't see.
Okay. And then I know you said you saw the car, you said we're done with this.
Yeah.
And
That's
you
when I got mad back and I'm like, we're done with this. Like we're going home. And then I get in the turning lane. I'm about to turn, and he gets out as I'm like about to turn.
So which side of the car was the other car compared to yours?
Here's the car. Here's my car. Here's the stop sign, the red light. I stop barely. He jumps out as I'm stopping to turn or whatever, and he just starts shooting.
So you're going to turn right?
Yeah, I'm going to turn right, and they're like in the straight lane or left lane or something.
Okay, and so that means that the passenger side window of the other car is right next to your driver's side window, right?
Say that again.
So if we have two cars, so if this one's your car and this one's the other car, the passenger side window, and this is your driver's side window.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you're saying that when you passed by the car because of the tint, you couldn't see anything inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't see anybody. I didn't see a gun pulled. None of that. I just seen a tinted car as soon as he started shooting, I panicked.
I had a question. So he started shooting, but you said that he shot one went across your head and hit that. So
Yeah, he got out of the car. It wasn't.
so you
He got out.
he was shooting through the car?
No, he got out of the car, and the bullets hit my car.
Oh, from shooting outside.
Yeah, from the passenger side. I was in line of fire when
You're
he.
shooting over your.
Yeah, over, and he even started like walking around towards the hood.
Okay.
Okay, so was that car at a complete stop when it was at that light or that stop sign?
Yeah, I think
The one
so.
that you shot.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and you were behind it. You pulled forward in the turning lane. You said you stopped. Were you in a complete stop?
No, I wasn't in a complete stop. I barely stopped just to look both ways to turn.
So would it be like a California roll? Where
Yeah,
you
like
just slow
exactly.
down a lot so you can look left, right, straight,
Yeah,
and then he gets out of the car at that point.
yeah. He gets out as soon as I like slow down right there.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong. He was in the front seat, right?
Yeah, the front
seat.
passenger seat. Yeah.
And he gets fully out of the car, like both.
Yeah, he jumps out. Yeah, as it's moving a little
Okay.
with the gun in hand.
And then how many times did you shoot?
So I'd have to say like 20 times.
Okay. Is it a fully automatic or?
No, I don't think so.
No.
No.
Okay.
By Flores' account, the two knew they would eventually get caught. So one packed a bag to fly under the radar, the other ditched the gun allegedly used in the shooting and said goodbye to their family. Flores admitted that Acee told him to get rid of his phone, but the two ended up speaking briefly.
Other than those messages, was there any other digital communication after this incident about what had happened?
After what had happened, he called my girlfriend's mom, and that's how. And he like, he basically wanted to come over or whatever,
Okay.
and I think I even talked to him for like 20 seconds. I was like, yeah, come over, whatever. And yeah, that was it.
Okay. But no like text messages about you shot somebody. You know, I can't believe
Nope.
you did that.
Nothing like that.
Okay.
No.
Did you guys discuss?
He was smarter than that. Yeah.
Okay.
He
you guys-
walked me through it, like not to ever talk about it ever again. So yeah.
Okay. Not to ever have any messages or emails or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like after like this came out like in the news, I'm sure you saw in the news or someone told you
I
what
saw the
happened.
news. Yeah.
Did I don't know? Did he say, "Oh yeah,
That's when
That's
he came
the right
over
guy.
to my house. After that, he found out I was released and he came over.
So what was the discussion, because obviously the news published some information about the victim in this case.
Hmm.
What was the conversation between you and me? Because obviously it was not
The conversation.
6'1"
Yeah.
kid with an Edgar haircut that he had talked to.
Yeah, he said, like I said, he seemed all f***ed up, and I assumed that that's because of that. He even told me I didn't know I killed that kid that night. And I was like, I tried to make him feel better or whatever. He was very like, you could tell he was like losing it, like, and he told me also, I think after that, that's when he told me that he's not going down for this, and he'll go out in a shootout. He told me that word for word.
Did he ever ask you if you spoke to police when you?
Yeah, he did. And I told him no, I pleaded the fifth.
How did he respond to that?
I don't remember.
was like in contact with you anyway since?
No, not since he went over there that one time. He stopped trying to, because I told him, I was like, don't come over here anymore. Like, I told him like in a nice way, 'cause I didn't want him to, you know. I told him, no, you shouldn't come over here anymore.
At the time this interview took place, Thomas Acee wasn't behind bars, so Michael Flores had two final pleas to the investigators and the district attorney.
Is there anything you guys could do to protect my family while he's out there? He probably assumes that I'm telling on him, and we'll go over there. I will do anything you guys ask me to do. I just want a second chance at life, and I want to protect my family, and I don't want them to get hurt over this.
And that's helpful for me to know. Obviously, once I start plea negotiations with Miss Williams, that's something that we'll discuss. And so I just wanted to make sure that was something that you were comfortable with. And obviously, taken into custody, we're always very careful about what information that we're providing to him in that situation when we have that initial detention motion. Because in the event that the judge does not detain him, we don't want him getting out and knowing. But just so you are aware, there will be information that will be put in the arrest warrant affidavit. And so
That he will see.
if he is arrested, he will get a copy of that, and he has to by law. And so if he is released, that is something. And what I will do is I'll communicate with Miss Williams once he's taken into custody. When we have a detention hearing set, I'll make sure to let her know if he does not get detained. That way, she can let your loved ones know, just in the event that anything sets him off.
Okay. So so you'll give us like a heads up if somehow he gets released through Amy.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I think for now, I mean, it's obviously we want to, work with you and do what you think is in the best interest of their safety, but maybe something along the lines of, hey, I know this guy's been there before. If he contacts you, if you see him, call 911 immediately.
Yes, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
And it's very important that if you ever receive any kind of threats, if any of your family members ever communicate to you that anyone has threatened about anything related to this case, let Miss Williams know so that she can let us know, because that's not something that can be happening.
I think the flip side of this is that he's expressed to me concerns about when he's taken into custody for himself. in the jail.
Okay.
So what I will be doing, I'm going to reach out to MDC to let them know once we actually do apprehend him and get him into custody that they are kept in separate pods, so that they can't have any contact. But like I said, the information, so to speak, about this interview is not going to be shared with anyone outside the interview, and there will be what's called a seal on the arrest warrant. So that means it's not going to be available to the public. So nobody else will be able to see what you told us today and taken into custody. And so nobody else will know that you've provided any information until that happens. And so
I would like to actually have protective custody. I don't want to have to worry about him saying stuff about me or anything in there and it gets back to me.
is that something you want me to reach out to the jail to see if they can arrange for?
Yeah, if
Okay.
you can, yeah.
Okay.
Flores maintained he had no idea where Thomas Acee was located, but surprisingly, he was arrested just a day after his interview with investigators. Acee faces a staggering amount of charges, including open murder, now first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, shooting at or from a motor vehicle resulting in great bodily harm, 9 counts of tampering with evidence on an open count of murder, 9 counts of conspiracy to commit tampering with evidence, and 2 counts of attempt to commit felony murder. The 2 remain locked up in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Bernalillo County, New Mexico.
Thomas Acee pleaded not guilty to his charges, and a trial date has been set to March of 2026. As for Michael Flores, his trial is also slated for next year, but he has a court hearing slated for next month. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Elizabeth Millner.